Knowing the standard widget library is nice, but as someone who was once accused as not so much recreating the wheel as hand machining my own nuts and bolts, I know there are times when nothing in the tool chest will quite do the job. That's when it's time to dive in and build your own custom view from scratch. Now, we're not going to be including any custom views within Sunshine, but we can still take a look at how you would build one. We'll start by creating a new class for our view. Let's call it My View. If you're building something from scratch rather than modifying an existing view, it should descend from either View itself or from Surface View. View offers a lightweight, canvas-based approach, while Surface View is designed specifically to support UI elements that require rapid redraws and/or 3D graphics, using something like OpenGL. It's perfect for views that display video or games. Now, the existing widget library is entirely view-based, so let's take that approach. The base view class draws an empty, borderless 100 by 100 pixel box. To change that, we override the onMeasure handler, which allows us to indicate the view's size. We'll also override onDraw in order to draw our own custom view content. Now, if it turns out that your view should always be an empty 100 pixel box, then you're in luck. Otherwise, we need to do some work. So let's start by setting our view's size. OnMeasure is called when your view's parent is laying out its children. As you know, when you add a view to a layout, you can specify a specific height or width, but in most cases you'll want to either match parent or wrap the content. When a view's onMeasure is called by its parent layout, it asks, how much space will you use? And passes in how much space is available and whether the view will be given exactly that much space, or at most that much space, using these parameters. You can decode those parameters like this, and that'll allow you to obtain the size and the mode for your height and width specifications. In this example, we're demonstrating it just for the height parameter, but it works the same for width. We can then use the decoded mode parameter to find out what size we should set our view to. If the returned mode is exactly, the view will be placed into an area of exactly that size. You'll be passed that value if the layout has specified a specific size, or if the view has been asked to fill the parent. In either case, it's best practice to simply return the value passed in, unless that value is below your view's minimum size, in which case you can return the minimum value and rely on the parent layout to crop or scroll as necessary. Another alternative is at most. This indicates that your view can define its own size up to the size given. This is typically the case for views set to wrap content, where the view should be as wide as it needs to be to display its content, but no wider than that. And of course all of that's provided that it still fits within the parent container, as indicated by the size parameter. Now, we've just finished calculating all of that for the height parameter, and you'd need to do exactly the same thing again for width. And once you've done that and determined the size of your control, you have to call the setMeasureDimension method. Here you pass in your width and height values. If you don't call the setMeasureDimension method, your app will crash as soon as your view is laid out.